All right, so this time we're talking about the future governing system, right? Future of government.
Indeed.
What's it going to look like? What's it going to be?
He said, "What do you have in mind?"
Clearly, it's going to be a one world government.
A one world technocracy ran by. What's wrong?
Nothing.
Made a weird face.
I agree with you. A democratic techno republic.
Ran by transhumanism.
I mean, it's
That's
yeah.
right.
I mean, I think that should be like the underlying aim.
And-
obviously,
And for all
I
of
mean-
you that don't understand that, that basically means majority probably will be cybernetic.
yeah. I mean, actually, I think people will naturally accept cybernetics. I think here's what's going to happen. I believe the technology is going to get more and more prevalent and safer. It'll be easier to prove that it's safe. People will start adopting it, and the benefits that it'll give them in their daily lives, other people will have to take it on and accept it simply because it'll just give them so much power.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I'm curious. Hopefully, eugenics is is traveling at the same speed that the development of cybernetics is as well. And if not, I hope it has far exceeded it already, or is trailing right behind. I hope it's not lagging too far behind. If so,
so you're saying like genetic manipulation?
yeah, like not just cybernetics, but also genetic manipulation. But maybe I know nothing about it, so maybe there has to be some type of genetic manipulation to even incorporate cybernetics.
Yeah,
maybe
maybe so.
Maybe on the neurological level, maybe not so much limb attachments, but maybe once you start getting to the processing, the mixing of processors between your brain and something man-made, maybe, who knows?
Yeah. Hey, I think it's highly likely.
Yeah,
But I think it'll once we do reach that point, more people will start adopting it.
yeah. I think I'll be curious to see. Will it be privatized or nationalized? I'm curious. I'm curious which route it'll take once it becomes more abundant in society as a whole. Will the government feel the need to rein it in and put its paws on it, or will they
I
just
don't
let the
know.
private market handle that?
I think that in my opinion, it might become as important as something like agriculture. So maybe we can look at how agriculture is managed in society today and take something from that. But that is kind of how it intersects with economics too. And while we focus today on the governing system, I would like to save economics for another discussion.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's a beast of its own to discuss.
Fuck yeah.
So, however we get there, though, I do believe that it'll be some sort of democratic techno republic.
I would like to think so.
And yeah, I think it's just the most obvious thing that's coming. I mean, technology's on the rise. Right now, we could, if we truly wanted to put our minds to it, we could develop voting systems that were totally safe, as safe as they could be, as safe as they are now, and we all log in to an app and vote.
Yes, if we could do it
Right,
right,
I mean-
then and there on the fly. Especially if we had processors entwined within our mind, for lack of a better way to put it, and not just on a device that you got to pull out of pocket or that you're wearing on your arm, something that's actually ingrained in
Yeah.
you. That way it's as real time as possible. That would be really cool. And efficient,
so in the
easy.
long term, definitely something that is fused with your being.
Yeah.
And then in the short term, easily something on a phone, something that we could put on a phone and hash out. And then I imagine the way that it would work is that this government would run on a constitution. I mean, it just seems the most logical yet
Yeah.
again. But that constitution would likely be on a blockchain type of technology. And it is amended. Everything's recorded, the amendments, everything, all the votes. right there on the blockchain to manage this. This is totally possible. Like, this isn't even like science fiction stuff. This is like stuff that's going to happen in the next century, I believe. But to move past that, so we're looking at a one world government that is a democratic techno republic based on a blockchain constitution. I think it should be managed as a federation. And then there would be 5 levels to the federation: a city level, a county level, a state level, a regional level. So that would take the place of what might be today like countries, and then a planet level, right? And elections are held annually, and everybody goes in and votes. And then what we have is we have representatives. We have governors, judges, and legislators, and they're all elected annually. And so at the city level, citizens vote. It's only citizens voting. There's no representatives at the city level because it's super local, very local. They get 100% of the voting power. And if the citizens don't vote at the legislative, criminal, and so judicial level, then the bill doesn't pass or the criminal's not sentenced. That means that the population doesn't care enough about what's being voted on to vote on it. So why would it be carried out in the legal process? And then at the county level, you will elect representatives, and they get 40% of the vote, and the citizens will get something like 60%. And at the state level, it's inverted. Citizens get 40% of the vote, reps get 60% because it's a little further away from each individual person. Then at the regional level, hold on, I need to say one more thing. There's another class of people, another group of people here. It'll be oligarchs, and they'll be hidden. You know, it's super secret on who the oligarchs are. These are people who have amassed power in various ways to the degree that they have a more than the average investment in society. Right. They'll be like, kind of like how we treat the electoral college. They won't have a say in city, county, or state level decisions. But at the regional level, they get 25% of the vote. The representatives that we elect get 25%, and the citizens get 50%. And then at the planet level, citizens get 1/3 of the vote, reps get 1/3 of the vote, and the oligarchs get 1/3 of the vote. And it's all managed technologically. Right? And I think this is a good balance of power for the species. It takes the best of everything we've got.
Right. Yeah. Here, at least here in the USA, and probably,
I think, maybe worldwide.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, because the rest of the I left one thing out.
What?
There needs to be a mechanism for socialism.
Yeah. Like,
there has to be.
Like,
but I think maybe
socialist practices, like what? Military, universal basic income, stuff like that.
Yeah. For goods and services that are just basic necessities by this point. I think the technological system will have to run primarily on a socialist framework, since it's so integral to the society. But I think we can expand upon that once we go to the economic conversation in the future. We'll keep that in mind on how it's going to intersect with the idea of government.
Yeah, that's a good move.
What do you think would be the cons of this kind of system?
Off the top of my head, I can't really think of any. I mean, it's one of those that you would have to live out and see what comes about. I mean, you're going to... I don't know. It's like you don't really know till you start building it.
Yeah.
Surface level, it sounds good.
It does sound good. I think the most obvious con people would have that they would probably say that since it's technological, it is not safe. It's open to attack and bad actors.
Yeah.
Hacking it.
Yeah, that would really be a big issue if you had processors attached to your brain. I could see that.
Yeah, but even in the short term.
Yeah.
Just like the system, like Hell, 2 elections ago, we have a mail-in ballots, and we have a president who sat as president twice and saying it was rigged.
Yeah.
In the United States, in the most developed, arguably the most developed country in the world. So I think to some degree, there's no way to escape
Bad actors.
at least the suspicion. Yeah, at least the suspicion that bad actors have been involved.
No,
You
you're
know?
gonna have that. You're gonna have that sense of espionage no matter what you do. You're always gonna have that. There's always gonna be that tiny bit of untrustworthiness amongst each other, regardless
Yeah.
of how solid you try to promote the new system. It's still gonna be there, and for good or bad, it's there.
I'd like to think that through genetic manipulation and through cybernetics, we trust technology and technological processes more and each other more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think the main aim for genetic manipulation needs to be giving each person's consciousness better control over its neurochemistry so that they can manage their emotional states better
Yeah.
and more predictably. That needs to be the aim of genetic manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
The rest would work itself out.
Yeah.
Also, another issue possibly with this kind of system is like inter-municipality disputes. How do you manage that?
What do you mean?
We'd have to come up with a system for like, so let's say that one county has an issue with a neighboring county,
Mm-hmm.
or one state has an issue with a neighboring state, or one region has an issue with the neighboring region. How does that get managed and
Yeah, partly that would come
adjudicated?
with who's having the problem with who, and what about? Is it just the citizens, or is it the upper echelons of that have the issues with the other county?
The level above it.
Yeah, it's like, because for from what it seems, for the most part, as long as the citizens don't have a problem with it, nothing will change. It'll maintain.
Yeah, but what happens when you have like radical groups or religious groups? Hell, how
Yeah.
do you manage different cultures within this? That'll have to all be worked out. I'm kind of banking on the fact that we start to homogenize,
Yeah.
especially with genetic manipulation.
I mean, it would definitely be
If
important
we-
for the government to not get involved in that aspect when it came to any religious cult like that. That would be something for the localized populace to deal with.
Yeah, the state level and below.
Like you would have to have a true separation of church and state.
Yeah, but I agree with you. See, I'm banking on the fact that as we do this genetic manipulation, and if it does grant people the ability to control their emotional states, we can manage that better interpersonally so that it doesn't turn into some tribal group warfare where we all like have to go to war with each other, and there's like warring tribes now.
Mm-hmm.
Who manages that? I mean, I guess you can look at the United States as an example, because to some degree we manage that, I guess, well.
It's like that throughout the states now. Really, I mean, we had a whole war, a civil war that was similar to that. It was part of the issue was do the states have the right to secede from the Union? As time passed, I think what the ruling is no, they do not, because that's why it's a union.
Has bullets proved.
Yeah.
So that's the next thing. I mean, where does the will to power play in here? Because there will always be strife and conflict, and who comes in, and will there be a war? What happens if some group of people want to secede from the one world government? They don't want to answer to its power structure, and they want sovereignty.
Mm-hmm. But what?
I don't know.
What does that mean or look like for them?
Yeah.
I mean, what?
How will that process go?
Yeah, would you just? Because I mean, if the majority on the planet is against that, what does that do for the minority? Do you just give them a little care package and kick them off the planet, or does the majority say, here's this
God, we gotta become
allotted
spacefaring.
piece of section on the planet that you can kick it, and if you come outside of that, then we'll deal with you. But as long as you're in there, but I don't know. Even then, going
Yeah,
down
but
that
then
route,
it wouldn't just be one group.
Yeah, I was about to get to that. Once you start doing that, then it just amplifies. It's like then these guys start doing it. You basically you turn back to kids.
Yeah, warring tribes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
warring tribes, and I think it would be better.
I
I feel like you won't. If we're at the level of the manipulation through eugenics, I would assume those issues would slowly degrade and eventually be erased from my consciousness.
That's what I would assume too.
Along with things like religious development, religious dogma. You know, because that's all stemming from
all
your
dogma.
Yeah, that a lot of that stemming from your personal beliefs through your personal struggles and experiences, along with your fears. You know.
Yeah, true.
And when you're that one
Even
individual,
political dogma.
yeah, and when you're that one individual, you're then going out looking for that other one individual who's the same or very similar, and you know that eventually multiplies, and you know your group typically will grow bigger. But if we're manipulating on a genetic level, I would like to think that we're getting rid of that potential.
Yeah, I'd like to think that too. I think that would be how it'd have to happen. And so I'm not arguing for the erasure of religion or like the religious proclivity in people. I wouldn't argue for that because I personally myself am kind of a mystic, you know, like I'm on both sides of it, philosopher, mystic, where I think there is something obviously beyond us and that we can't fathom happening in the universe. And I think that there needs to be a mechanism in society for people to congregate and explore that.
Yeah.
But when it becomes devastating to the structure of the society under a one world governing framework, then I don't know how we'd handle that. That would be interesting to see. Hopefully it wouldn't. Hopefully it would be handled the same way it is here in the States at this point.
I
You know,
would say one of the obvious ways that we try to handle it would clearly be through force.
Yeah, that's the will to power in its greatest glory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's government, a monopoly of violence. You know, and then each municipality, like each level of the federation, would have to have its own, like, law enforcement.
Yes.
You know, there would still be struggles. There would still be revolutions. You know, there'd be no way around it. You know, unless we were all turning into like hive-minded slaves.
I was just about
zombies.
to say that we have to erase that. We would all have to agree to become some type of hive mind, or through force become a hive mind. You know.
Well, it's great that empires like the United States have existed and they can exist for long periods of time because it proves that to some degree our concerns right now can be managed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it can be done. It's just a matter of, I hate to say it, bureaucracy.
Yeah, I mean, we all have to be willing to sit down at a table and talk. You know, or write these ideas out,
or in a virtual space.
Or a virtual space, whatever space you need to exist in to talk it out.
Yeah,
that needs to be
That's
preferred
the
over
beauty of having
the actual physical destruction of each other.
Yeah, I would rather discuss it in virtual space than in the killing fields. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, we got to reach a point when we realize that humans dying can't be progress. How can that be? That seems like paradoxical.
I don't know. People are,
even though that is the current state of things.
Yeah. I mean, we're just quick to jump off the ledge of just saying, yeah, people die. It's what you do. And at a certain point, you say screw it, and you just murder them, and we'll come back to the drawing board later after it's done. But it's never really done. It's just...
I mean, people do die. It is what you do, but people don't necessarily get killed. I mean, they do, but it's not the same as people dying. I'm not saying that it's bad, because who am I to judge? You know.
Yeah, I guess that's what I meant, is people dying through, being murdered through some
Yeah.
ideal cause. And it's like, man, if we could just subvert that into just using dialogue to get
I
our,
know.
to get our opinions across, and I don't know, somehow figure a way out for one to overpower the other without true physical violence.
I think genetic manipulation and cybernetics, man, I think it's the answer to that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's obviously the answer to that. The problem is, and here we return back to the other conversation we had, is progress is evil to a certain group of people in our society.
Yes.
To a large group of people in the global society. Progress is evil. Technological transhumanism is evil, even though they're doing it now. Listen, we are transhuman now. The fact that you and I are sitting here having a conversation remotely, that's transhumanism.
Mm.
The thing is it's not integrated into my body. I would argue it is. And I could go into a long philosophical take on why that is, but I won't. It seems slowly developed across generations. And the same would have to happen for cybernetics and genetic manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, we'd have to get past the dogma. We have to go beyond good and evil here and look towards the future and what we could be and how we can overcome what we currently are.
Right.
And my God, the people who have power now, the power structures that exist, that'd be our biggest hurdle, man, because they'd go kicking and screaming.
Yeah, it definitely wouldn't be an easy transition at all. And I don't even know how you deal with that. But, besides the obvious.
God, this podcast filled with a bunch of I don't knows. That's a good thing, though.
Yeah.
I imagine this process is going to be filled with a bunch of I don't knows. But while saying that, this is a good segue into another part of the conversation. That's one governing system. The opposite governing system is also a possibility for us. And what does that look like? To me, that looks like a bunch of tribal warlords where society's falling apart and we all only worship our local power.
Yeah.
And this has turned into like some sort of, just a bunch of third world, like these little local tribes have like great technologies like nuclear weapons and machine guns and drones, and it's just constant warfare, and we further segment and fractionate society. And
There'll be a lot of wasteland out there.
It would just be wasteland and suffering, and we would always be at war with each other. We could almost never agree, and then more religions would develop to build cohesion in a local tribe, or more dogma would develop. That's the other possibility here. Like, those are the two extremes. I don't foresee us staying the way we are. Right now, we're much closer as a global population to that devolved framework of government than we are this one world governing democratic techno republic.
Yeah.
I mean, the specter of it currently exists, but physically, realistically, we're much closer.
Yeah,
to being these tribes.
Yeah, we're still far decentralized. We're still not that accepting.
Yeah, I know. I mean, look what's going on in the Middle East right now.
Yes.
Look what's going on in Ukraine.
Mm.
And we'll do it too. Look what happened in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
Man, when you listen to that History on Fire, I believe it was History on Fire, and I believe he had another guy host it. The My Lai massacre, it'll bring tears to your eyes. It's like, man, human beings are that evil still. We are that evil.
Yeah.
My own military 50 years ago 60 years ago was that evil.
Yeah.
Even the nuclear weapons, dude. Dude, I can't tell you how many times I've sat back and thought about this deeply. And I think about the smartest men in the world at the time helping develop a weapon that would kill tens of thousands of innocent people instantly.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what kind of psychopaths do stuff like that? You know?
Those that think their ideal should win.
And tragically, that seems like the way that it has to go for us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like we've doomed ourselves to the will to power. Because I don't make any mistakes about it. When I say that I believe the will to power is the most foundational, the most fundamental rule, for lack of a better word at this moment, to reality, I don't say that because I like it. I don't say that because I want it to be the case. I say that begrudgingly. Like, I want us to have another way around this.
Yeah.
And the reason I have to say that is because no matter what situation you're in, it can apply.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like love. You know, love does not apply to right now in Palestine,
Yeah.
between Palestine and Israel. There's no love there. It's nothing more than the will to power. I don't know. Maybe, hopefully, we can overcome the will to power. I like to think so. We need the one world. That needs to be the aim of this one world governing system. And who's going to bring it about? It's not going to be the powerful people now, because they are instantiated in some version, some mode of the will to power at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
What it'll have to be is men like Thomas Jefferson and George Washington, you know, newer versions of these kinds of men,
Yeah.
Nelson Mandela, you know, who aren't afraid. They don't care about money, capital. They don't care about their prejudices. They don't care about some religious structure. They just care about a better future. And not only what can happen right now to bring it about, but how to provide the conditions for the future to be able to bring it equally about, continually, like it's an iterative, recursive process. You know, that's what we're going to need. It's basically, it'll be like how we imagine gods. That's how humans will have to start behaving.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that was the point of the story of your boy Jeebus, you know.
Yeah, I know.
And
That's
Superman.
a great story. Yeah, Jesus, Superman.
Yeah. I don't view those characters as anything other than what individuals should strive to be. You know, I'm not saying I do that per se, but I feel like the ideal of them was that. That's what they were meant to carry. It's like
The burdens of humanity.
yeah. Like take that on individually. But
yeah, there's a beauty in that. That story.
It's so unreal that you have to write it into a character that flies. Yeah, you know, that flies.
Yeah,
fast.
I know.
Yeah.
It's so unreal that the guy his existence has to be enshrouded in miracles.
Yeah.
For us to take it serious.
Completely
Isn't that
alienated from
ironic?
our own existence.
Yeah, it's like he's got to be born of a virgin.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to turn water to wine for some reason. That's a weird one.
Yeah.
You know? He's got to heal lepers. You know, he's got to rise from the dead. It's like, my man couldn't just plow a field and heal people. I mean, he couldn't plow a field and bring in a better life. I mean, he couldn't.
Yeah, it's like, good Lord.
He could have just been a fisher and a carpenter, and I'd be like, that is a great guy. But that's our problem. We're weird in that respect. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we are.
It's kind of like
we're infants in that regard.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's kind of sycophantic. You know, it's like we I don't know.
You just want to put.
There was something I wanted to.
You want to put the burden off.
Go ahead.
You want to put the burden off of yourself onto someone else or something else.
You do. Yeah, or something else.
You
And
know.
a lot of individuals want to put it off on their society,
Yes.
or a messiah, or God, or Satan, whatever way you frame the deity. There's a thing just to counteract this, like in the story of Jesus in the Bhagavad Gita. I'm going to get this wrong because it's been a while since I've read the passage. But basically, it's a justification. See, in the Bhagavad Gita, there's like this great war that's taking place in the sky, and it's, bleeding out to human life. And it's by these deities. And basically, there is this sentiment in the Bhagavad Gita that you killing your kinsman in war, like your cousin over there on the battlefield as your enemy, it's just the way things are. That's just the way it is, man. There's nothing evil about it. And next time that we have a discussion, I'll have read this passage again in the Bhagavad Gita just to bring it up, because I'd hate to spend time searching for it right now.
It's strange that we'll justify it in that regard, but yet in other areas we agree to change. It's so weird how we end up at the end of the day we find it an excuse to wage war.
We do. I think we would be better off if we all. Here's what would help us. And this, yet again, we'll go back to the Bhagavad Gita. If we waged the war internally, if we inverted the will to power inside of ourselves.
Yes, on an individual basis.
On an individual basis, maybe what it would do is collapse the will to power outwardly. If we all, within our own consciousness, took the will to power internally.
Yeah. Again,
maybe
be a Jesus type, a Superman, an Uberman. Something of the sort.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But you got to love yourself deeply to be able to turn your ego on itself.
Yeah,
you have to love yourself.
Yeah, I personally prefer Superman in that aspect, just for the fictional state of both characters. I just think he represents it better, personally. Because he's just...
You think so?
Yeah, he's just up front, more powerful, in the fictional world.
Yeah, which I would place Jesus firmly in as well.
Yeah, but...
In the Bible,
Yeah, I suppose you could, but he never commits any feats. They have both great feats, but one's less.
He doesn't manifest the level of power.
Yeah,
that
it's two different.
Superman
it's two different styles of power.
It is, and one is more human though. Mm-hmm. Jesus is a human in the story,
For whatever that means, that the human is born of a virgin. Sure. As far as I know, no human's born of a virgin.
I wish they would have wrote a much better story.
Yeah.
They could have come up with some better miracles.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like, guys, no one alive today would ever believe someone's born of a virgin. All right. That is not happening.
Hell no.
It's also strange to see these very logical conservative guys who think that they make all of their decisions based on logic and what makes sense, and
still die.
Then they believe some story where some guy's born of a virgin.
Yeah.
And somebody said it 2,000 years ago. It's like, you wouldn't believe a single woman alive today if she said that it was a virgin birth. If your fucking wife came to you, buddy, and said, I'm pregnant, and you knew that y'all hadn't had intercourse in like 6 months, 9 months, a year, oh, you'd be livid, bro.
Yeah.
And what if she looked you dead in your face and says, God told me it was... You would, come on, man. It's like these very logical guys then believe that stuff. It's so weird to me. That's so strange to me. It's like, can't it just be a good story? I mean, come on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But I guess that the real thing is to turn the will to power inwardly.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing can surmise it to. I don't know no other way around it other than just burden yourself with your own burdens and those in the world itself. And everyone does it. I mean, what's the only,
Yeah.
as far as we know, the
Yeah.
only other option is what we're doing now. Where,
That concept of turning the will to power inward is like major in the Eastern religious tradition. And I guess kind of if you think of Christianity, that's what's happening.
mhm,
Like God turns the will to power inwardly on himself as a to display to humanity how to do it.
mhm,
You know, and he does it. Now here's like if you ever read Soren Kierkegaard, he's another existentialist philosopher. He actually if you now he doesn't as far as I'm aware, he doesn't directly say this, but he tries you can take from his ideas that love is the most fundamental thing in reality is love, and it binds everything. So I guess you could, if you framed it as turning this will to power inward, it's like a form of love. It's like the highest form of love.
right.
And you would have to like express that within yourself to maintain this. I'd love to see a world where that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's their own personal therapist.
Man, that'd be sweet.
Yeah. Genetic manipulation is the way
Yeah, definitely.
we're gonna handle that.
I think it's a good start. I hope it becomes more mainstream and more people are open to that practice
Yeah.
in the future. Because right now,
I'd love to see more people. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, because right now we offshore it. You know, that stuff gets done in secrecy in other countries.
Oh yeah. Come on, bro. Listen, I value a lot of times when I speak to people and I tell them what I think might be the possible future, it's like they think that since I think that, I believe that and I want that. It's like, no, it's part of being rational, where I can analyze multiple possible outcomes and not care, not have a preference towards either one when I speak about them. And that is, if you look at, say, China, I mean, their culture's different. They're a little bit more, I use this word and I don't mean it in any bad way, but a little bit more hive-minded, kind of like the Germans are. I know people are going to take major offense to what I'm saying right now. But the Germans are like this, where they can kind of assimilate and agree to a net outcome that reduces all of them, but raises all of them. It reduces everyone individually, but because of the reduction, they gain something that raises the whole group.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the Chinese are in a unique position where they don't have to be the most creative group of people in society. All they have to do is be able to take good creations that exist right now, say genetic technology, genetic manipulation, and cybernetics, get its people to adopt this, which they can do easily, much more easily than we could. We have a spirit of revolution. We have a spirit of, this is my body. I'm making these choices, and rightfully so. I prefer that one. That's the one I subscribe to. But they could do this. And then that would leapfrog them ahead of the rest of the cultures of the world. Because imagine this, after 2 generations of them doing genetic manipulation, and they have children, everyone in their society has an IQ of 180. What does that look like? I mean, they would be massively creative after that.
Yeah.
It's like, who cares what they were? Who cares that they're not right now the most creative? Yeah. It's like, we got to be, if we care enough, we have to be mindful of that.
Mm-hmm.
They could do this. And I actually, for that reason, think that a society like that, who is a world power and has a more hive-minded like culture, just because of, their culture across time, that they're next. They're gonna rise up, and it'll be tremendous.
Yeah.
A greater level of power than anything we've ever seen when this can happen. When one culture of people adopts genetic manipulation and cybernetics, and it will happen. It will happen. I mean, if you just let's use game theory as a model to say that if a weapon can exist, it will exist. Someone will build the weapon.
Yes.
If it can exist. Look at the nuclear bomb as an example of that. Someone was going to build it because they could.
Mm-hmm.
Some nation was going to build nuclear weaponry. Then that means that this technology will come to be. And my question would be, who do you want to have it? The people who would bring in a one world governing system, that a democratic techno republic with a blockchain based constitution, and would divide a federation up into fair and equal municipalities and try to find ways for everyone to have a say, or the people who can't see past the hive mind, you know?
Yeah. That'd be a question we carry with ourselves for a long time.
Hopefully not so long. Hopefully we can get this shit going in like the next 50 years. You know what I mean? It's like, shit, man, come on.
Well,
Speed this up. It's like, Elon, where the fuck you at with this, bro? Come on.
yeah, and Boston Dynamics and their robots. Come on, guys. Let's get this going.
Which is laughable. How long have they been working on this dog robot? I mean, they better have some secret shit going, because it's like, guys, I've been seeing this now for like 25
they
years,
got some
bro.
serious robotic developments. I don't know if you've seen some of their parkour robots, but they do crazy movements. They're really cool.
Yeah, I think maybe the last thing I saw was the one who was running and doing flips.
I can't run into a flip. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I need my man to be able to go into BMW, and as he walks to the door, he's programmed with fucking instructions to assemble a vehicle.
Yeah.
And he can go do any job in there with utmost dexterity, no matter how complex the movements are and how many different tasks he has to iterate and do.
Mm-hmm.
And he needs to analyze when a fault occurs and adjust in real time. That's when I'm impressed.
Yeah, right.
If you make a goddamn thing that won't fall over when I kick it, it's like, well, I guess he can carry military bags for 30 miles. Then we got to carry it to the next charging station.
Hell yeah.
You know, it's like, come on, man. You know, give this thing a nuclear core. Then we're talking.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be
now he
sweet.
can walk you back for
Years.
5 times the circumference of the earth. Yeah.
He'll be carrying that shit for years. Yeah, I look forward to if they could just slap my mind in a TA-100 body, kind of good.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Digitizing our minds and then placing us inside of cybernetic bodies.
Yeah, full synthetic
Boy, that's
body
it
and
right
like an
there.
organic skin. If you wanted to have that human aesthetic, that'd be cool.
That's a beautiful world right there. I don't know why this scares most people. I don't know why most people sit in their house and they're like scared of this, to the point that they would trade their power on this earthly plane to some god, you know. And it ain't just like one god. It's like every culture, most cultures to some degree do this.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah, it's weird.
He said it's a funny one.
It's about time we start realizing that we have to behave like this place is ours.
Yeah,
As
and
humans.
not just
You know,
and not like we're just some accident or a sheep to be coddled until we're brought back on the boat. You know,
yeah, it's pure weakness. God, it's such herd slave mentality.
Yeah.
Ah, man, I hate it, dude. I despise it.
Yeah, I mean, all we do right now is develop the softer version of slavery.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
That's what I was about to say.
thankfully.
We just
But
iterate on softer and softer versions of slavery. It's like, damn, man, it's tragic. That's the best we got.
and it all just comes down to because we can't figure it out. We don't want to, or we don't know how, or a mix of all three.
Yeah, when you say we don't want to, I want to caveat that with some people don't want us to.
Yeah, because they would prefer their lifestyle as is.
Yeah.
Because I guess it's one of those ones everyone's involved, and it's not so special after all.
Well, let me tell you, if it has to be things run on the will to power, then maybe there's only one way to bring this type of government system in. I don't want to think about it. I don't really want to explore it too much because I hope that we're better
invasion.
than that. Yeah, a fake one. No, we know. I mean, it's the only way any new government's ever come to exist ever anyway.
I mean,
The tragic way, the barbaric way.
They make for a good story, though.
You know what's sad? They do make for good stories. You know what's sad? What's sad is the guys who, dude, these guys almost went down as the greatest guys in all of human history. Like, they might have even surpassed, they might have even gotten religions. And that's the guys who founded the United States of America.
Yeah.
But there was just one thing, man. The slavery thing, man. If they should have been wise to that, and they should have
abolished it right then and there.
They should have said, "Listen, people can't own people. All right,
yeah,
that's not going to be a part of this.
Yeah, you're not an amenity to be owned. You're not a item. You're not a shelf item. I don't know why.
They don't understand how. If I could go back, I would call them retards.
Mm-hmm.
But don't you realize that was the greatest blunder? A lot of people say if they had a time machine, they go back and kill Hitler. No, I'd go back and lecture these bastards.
Goddamn right.
I would. That would be what I spent
the all thing you're developing here. This is the thing you overlooked, or you just didn't care to focus on for whatever reason. It's like, why didn't you take
this is history's greatest blunder?
Yeah, it's like, why didn't you take this as your opportunity to uplift,
build a better world?
Yeah, build a better world and uplift lesser people at the time, and that was because lack of nutrition and so on and so on.
Yeah, just technological, cultural differences or whatever, different levels of power based on whatever the situation was. They could have turned the situation around. And see, what sucks is America, as far as establishing new nations, a new nation that can set a standard for the future, America was like the last chance, man.
Mm-hmm.
America was the last chance for it to happen with minimal bloodshed, terror, and war. We could have really made something happen there and set an example for the species. But they just
dropped the ball. I don't know how they
fucked that up, man.
I don't know if there's just more to it, or if they just shrugged their shoulders on it. No, I really don't know.
I guess it just goes to show you that no matter how smart you are, no matter what your goodwill you think you possess and what you think you're developing, there's still something you're going to overlook in your time that in the future will be a problem and look back on. So that makes me think, if we did develop this governing system that we're discussing, what would we overlook?
Yeah. Yeah, because
like another one I like to say. Yeah, there's another one I like to say. Like, I like to entertain the idea that we'll stop eating animals and start evolving animals and start getting more versions of consciousness on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
We'll start trying to speed this up because the more consciousness, the better.
Right.
Unless you believe the less consciousness, the better. And then I hate to speak religiously, that would seem kind of evil. That would seem like you didn't believe in this, what you are in this reality.
Yeah, but maybe, I don't know. I mean, it's a push and pull. I mean, it's like that in the grander universe. Stars die, others are born. There's no telling.
Yeah, but from my perspective, not trying to look at this as like an ultimate good and evil. From my perspective, the more consciousness, the better. Mm-hmm. We've got more beings that could take in information and think about it and create with it. Yeah. We would need more planets and more resources, obviously, but maybe I'm just using that as an example to say maybe that's a thing we're going to be overlooking as we build this one world government. Other forms of consciousness and how it may develop.
could be overlooking. Maybe that's just not how this universe was made to work.
What?
To add consciousness like that.
Then why are we here?
I don't know.
Yeah, that goes back to my belief in a creator.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'd like to believe that it's more logical than not that there is a creator because we exist and we can create. So therefore,
Yeah.
it seems logical that another thing exists and creates and has created.
Yeah.
You know, so that makes me think that because we're here and conscious and multiplying.
I mean, maybe we're here to assume the role of master of the universe, per se. You know?
Who's we?
Human beings to be the masters and to uplift species
Let me ask
starting
you.
here on the planet.
Let me ask you this then. Let's get really metaphysical here. Well, what's a human being?
Us. I mean, there's nothing else.
Is us our form, our skin, or is it just a thing that can act as a vessel for ideas and information
I'd say it takes
and
all of it.
compile it?
It would take all of it to make a human being. That's why
So-
we're a human being.
So then when we start doing genetic manipulation and cybernetic, changing our form cybernetically, are we human still?
I think that's why you would become transhumans, right?
That's the point I'm trying to make. Now you're beyond human.
Yeah.
So why would it be just, I think consciousness is the master of the universe in that frame.
But that's what I was.
And then why can't it be?
That's what I was meaning.
a
We would be
different-
masters of this universe. We would bring in more consciousness in the universe.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. And at that point, consciousness is the master of itself. Because I like to imagine that no matter how the origin, no matter the biological origins, the physiological origins of the consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
once it manifests, it's equal.
Yeah.
I wish that I think Jesus was trying to say something along those lines in the story. I think that Christians don't think Jesus was trying to say that, which is a tragedy.
Yeah.
Real tragedy.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, we're not supposed to try to manifest the kingdom of God within ourselves. No, it's only something a God man can do, who was born of a virgin, can turn water to wine and
Yeah.
revive himself.
Yeah. But
You know?
that's so strange. Because, like you're saying, I feel like Jesus was trying to say that you can do that. And that was the point of his existence.
Yeah, that's the point of the character, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, the existence of
Yeah.
that character. Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully we can. I'm gonna hold out hope that I'm gonna work towards a moment to my death where hopefully I can inspire people to think about what the future of government will look like and how it'll be managed and how we can contribute to its existence and its coming.